Jaycox and an owner, and I started the business as a partnership, and from there it went on. That year was 1956, and was partnership with my mother for about 2 years. Then I purchased her shares, and I bought it from L.N. Rowe. That was a previous implement dealer there. And with his help and the little money I had for down payment, I started the business. And in 1961, I married Arlene, and she helped me in the business. I had 2 boys in the 60s. And then we had a little up and down with the economy, which was normal. And didn't know whether it could stay in business, but it got through the 80s and went into the 90s. And I asked my boys if they were interested in the business, and Chad showed a little interest, but I didn't know for sure. And I asked him in 91 or 92, he came back, but 91, I probably asked him if he was interested. He had to do it now, or I was going to sell out. So he came back, and from there on, he took over the dealership and has made bigger things since then.
Hi, my name's Chad Jaycox. I got started with Jaycox Implement when I was quite a young man, and pushing the broom at the shop, and worked there through junior high and high school. And my dad basically said that I needed to go off to college and work for someone else before I made a decision whether I wanted to come back and work for Jaycox Implement or not. And I did that. I attended Iowa State and received a degree in industrial engineering, and worked 2 years for a company down in Pella, Iowa. From there, I was offered the opportunity to come back to the family business in 1992 when we purchased the store in Worthington, Minnesota. And since then, I've been managing that store, and we've seen some growth from there. And I really cherish the opportunity to carry on the next generation of Jaycox Implement. Yeah, Jaycox Implement was started by my dad, originally with 4 employees, and since that time in 1956, we've grown to right around 85 full-time employees. Like I said, we added the Worthington, Minnesota store in 1992, and then 10 years ago, we added the Laverne, Minnesota store. I think one big turning point with Jaycox Implement was the year that you had the fire. And it was a Sunday morning. Our whole family was in church, and a younger church member came in and said our shop was on fire. And we like, nah, we don't believe you. Didn't really believe him, and he was real persistent and kept tugging on us like, no, your shop's on fire. So we got up and went outside, and our dealership was just a couple blocks from the church that we were attending, and we walked out, and it was just a big black cloud of smoke rising up in the air. And I remember my dad sitting across the street in his vehicle looking at it, and at that time we were kind of in a farm crisis, and it was a big decision for him at that point whether to continue the business or to close the business at that time. So I feel very fortunate for myself, our employees, that he made the decision to continue on and rebuild, and now it's grown to what it is today. So it was a tough decision at that time with all the different factors that he had to take into account, but I feel he made the right decision.
Well, back to that day, I mean, it was, and the 2 employees that started with me, I said I was 55 years old or something like that. And with insurance, I mean, there was problems there, but I got to where it was enough to where it was a good sum of money. I could have bought farm ground and had an income for myself. I've been okay, but they were not okay. And they already spent from 56 to 84 with me. And I thought, no way should I leave them. So I asked them if they wanted to help me to put it back together. I was fortunate I bought a building where we're at now. It was a Chrysler Plymouth dealership, and it was quite a newer building. And they fixed it. We went down there and took out a lot of stuff and rebuilt and heating system. And so they helped me, and so we had to dig through the ashes to prove to the company something was of value. And they worked really hard. So the first one to retire was in 1995, and his name was Don Hammond. And he'd been there 40 years. So I was happy I stayed, because he was a good employee and a good friend. And Lyle Hoyer's another one is still living. And so nevertheless, I mean, there's a lot of memories, good ones.
Our employees are the key for everything that happens with Jaycox Implements. We are very fortunate to have a great core of employees that will help support our customers and take care of them as needed. And I'm just fortunate that my dad was able to start off with a good foundation of good employees, and we were able to build off of that throughout the years. We have a close-knit group of customers, and those customers grow into being your friends because you work with them on a daily basis or monthly basis from time to time. And it's neat to be working with some customers that my dad worked with their parents or even grandparents throughout the years, and we continue to work with those same families today. And they're more than just customers to us, they are lifelong friends, and it's really neat to see those relationships get created.
I had a vision of being successful, and that mine was goal, and I made it successful. And it wasn't easy, but nevertheless it happened, and with the help of the good employees, like I mentioned before, and watching my overhead, I made a success of it. So it wasn't that great, it's just one of the things you had to do. It was hard work. It wasn't working 8 hours a day or not weekends, it was working 7 days a week indirectly, which I didn't like at times. So nevertheless, that's what happened, and I'm happy I did it. So and then, as you know, it's been run the last 30 years by Chad, and that's where we're at now. It means a lot to me to have my son to come back to join the business. It's been really a pleasure and really brought a lot of happiness to Arlene and I, because she helped me, did a lot of work at the business here in Lake Park. As I said, I had two good sons. They never embarrassed me, so nevertheless, I let it go there. Do I agree with him all the time? Hell no. Did I make an issue out of it? No. Did he make an issue out of it? No. So that part, we've been really fortunate. We haven't ever had a bad time. And like I said, we love each other from the day one, and we still do.
I just feel like that it's been a great opportunity to carry on a business that my dad started in 1956, and to basically kind of take it to the next level from a single store operation to a 3-store operation. And we hope to continue to grow it in the future and just make Jaycox Implement the best place to come to for your farm equipment needs.